a relationship with what you're providing to them is going to help them cope with uncertain times better than your competitors can. So it can, if you understand it properly from your perspective and your client's perspective, be an opportunity to create real competitive advantage.
G'day, Peter. Good to see you again, talking about sales and next gen sales masterclass.
Yeah, g'day, Damien. How you going?
I'm well, thank you. And I'm excited about the uncertainty in the world, which is, I'm probably a bit weird like that. When we talk about that, we've got recessions coming potentially, COVID, people coming out of COVID, people working from home and not coming back to the office. How do people go about sales when there's such uncertain times?
Yeah, one of the great things I love about uncertainty, and I love talking about with sales teams with regards to uncertainty, is this whole idea of the champion's dilemma. And the champion's dilemma is a concept that says when times get toughest, the champions play best. It's one of the
Mm,
reasons we love, say, watching Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal play tennis, because they're bringing their best games when the challenge is highest. So you can look at uncertainty as a challenge and think, hey, I'm going to bring my best game here. I'm going to play my best. And that's what's going to create awesome client outcomes for me and for the people that I'm working with.
yeah, I love that. And part of that's mindset too, isn't it? Because when you look at it, a lot of times, I love the analogy of it's raining and they say, oh, no, can't go out because, nobody out selling. And the other salesperson, the one you're talking about, the Federer says, let's go out. No one will be out selling that. All the customers are mine. Is that part of that mindset where you need to
Exactly.
bring in uncertainty?
Yeah, exactly. It's about the uncertainty bringing your best game. It's also thinking about if you're uncertain, it's likely your clients are uncertain, and to a large extent, the
Mm.
clients are buying confidence from you, confidence
Ah,
that a relationship with you and a relationship with what you're providing to them is going to help them cope with uncertain times better than your competitors can. So it can, if you understand it properly from your perspective and your client's perspective, be an opportunity to create real competitive advantage. In fact, it could be easier to sell in a recession than when the economy is booming.
from my experience, it certainly is easier to sell in a recession. And what you're talking about, I love that you brought that up about that building the confidence. Because if you've got confidence that it's going to be okay, that actually goes out into the world, and you're able to instill that with your customers. I love that.
Yes. Yeah,
And
yeah.
because from my perspective, that's what my experience has been in my own personal life and with the clients that I've worked with. Is I've been through recessions, but I never experienced them because I never had the attitude that this was going to be difficult. Is that where we come from?
Yeah, exactly. And to a large extent, too, it just reminds us that one fundamental plank in selling is an emotional transfer. You're transferring an emotion of confidence and trust to the client or with the client, that they have challenges, they've got opportunities that they would like to capitalize on, and you're the right person, or your offering is the appropriate offering for them in these times. So it's rather than thinking, say, product or service based, we're thinking first confidence or relationship based. I'm building a sense of confidence that a relationship with you and an engagement with the products and service that you are selling are the best way to cope with these uncertain times. So it can present a huge opportunity for us.
Yeah, exactly. And part of that is having that mindset, which is what we'll go through a lot in the masterclass. We talk about how tricks and techniques, because it's one of those things that it's how do you implement that and make it work? Because I think a lot of people have got an idea about how to do this, but really it's how do you implement that? And that's part of the key things we'll talk through and explain to people in the next gen masterclass.
Exactly. And one of the key things I'm excited about sharing in the masterclass with the participants is this idea of how to be more optimistic in challenging times, because there's been a lot of research, particularly over the past decade, around what optimism is and how it works,
Mm.
and how you're thinking in terms of questions you're asking yourself and the answers that you believe to be true. And one of the reasons it's great sharing these ideas in a masterclass like this is that you can experience them live in the room. Like, rather than getting theoretical, it's about saying,
Mm.
hey, here are some questions you can be asking yourself. Here are some answers that you can be thinking about, deciding on, that make a dramatic impact on your ability to build those relationships and also get action orientated. Because one of the first things that happens typically when you're stressed or challenged in uncertain times, and when clients are stressed and challenged in uncertain times, is that you tend to stop. You tend to get less action orientated. You shut down a little, make less calls, have less meetings, send less emails. So it's about understanding why that's happening, and thinking about adopting a mindset to help you get that appropriate action orientation to build the sort of outcomes that we want to all build with our clients.
Exactly, and that reminds me of an experience that I had with one of my clients where we went through that process and showed them how to do that. And they were struggling. They were in a situation where they were wondering, what do we do? And it was a family business where the dad was in there and he was thinking, let's get out of it. It's not going anywhere. And after we had this session, we talked through and explained that to them, and they integrated. That was the key thing. They integrated it. That day, they got on the phone and they closed 3 massive deals. It was quite insane to watch, and just their whole demeanor changed. And just from that, just those couple of key techniques that they integrated, that was the key. They actually integrated it, but it changed the whole philosophy in their business. Actually, forever, because this was 4 years ago that happened. And yeah, it was very shortly after that that dad decided he didn't want to get out of the business anymore because it was prospering so much. So it was a funny thing to see, but it was
Yeah,
fascinating just in that instant, and that's how fast it can happen.
it can happen fast. And we're reminding ourselves too, as we'll see in the masterclass, that we're always selling a better future to a client. We're selling overcoming an obstacle or a challenge that they have, or presenting them with a better future. Their future could look good. We're selling them a better one. So to a large extent, you're selling an idea. You're exchanging money for confidence in a better future. And that's one of the things that I'm excited about sharing with participants, particularly when what we'll be doing, Damien, is not just explaining techniques, but how they apply directly to the sorts of challenges our participants are facing. And that's the part of the masterclass I enjoy the most. The theoretical conversation you can watch on YouTube. This is
Yeah.
understanding these ideas and how to apply them directly to your business, so that when you leave the masterclass, you can start selling more and more effectively straight away.
Well, that's exactly it. And as much as we have differing opinions on some things, like you getting up in the morning, going from swimming in the freezing cold waters, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I like a nice warm fireplace. But on that point, we definitely agree, because I love working with the clients that I work with and just seeing that growth, and how quickly that happens, just the dynamic change it affects not only in their business but in their life. So I really enjoy that the most. But yeah, really excited about working with the participants on that, and having fun with them, and creating a whole bunch of new relationships in the Next Gen Sales Masterclass.
Absolutely.